This is a moment of enormous significance in the history of our country. Through the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, we can now deal with our past.
Let's start with the amnesty hearings in Cape Town this past week. In June this year, the country watched with fascinated horror as former security police captain Jeffrey Benzin reenacted the torture method that gained him dubious fame, the wet bag method. Benzin is asking for amnesty for the torture of a number of political detainees, as well as for the killing of Cape activist Ashley Kriel.
The last word, however, belonged to the workers of Kusatu. They were not amused by the apologies, explanations, and sometimes fancy footwork of big business.
For the past 3 days, the TRC have heard how all South Africans, black and whites, big business and workers, were all freedom fighters for liberation.
The government has heard the appeals for urgent reparations, and we shall be ready to provide a modest assistance when the details have been forwarded.
Thank you for telling your story so that the country could know what happened in the past, so that the wounds might be healed. You have paid a very heavy price for our freedom and for the peaceful transition. May we never devalue that freedom.
In 2013, the South African History Archive, in conjunction with the SABC, launched an interactive multimedia website on the work of South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission, centering on the 87-part Truth Commission's Special Report television series. Broadcast nationally by the SABC between 1996 and 1998, this critically acclaimed weekly series reported on the testimonies being heard at TRC public hearings across South Africa during the time, and reflected on the workings of this then groundbreaking transitional justice effort. In 2007, with the financial support of the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation and the Atlantic Philanthropies, SAHA began the slow process of locating and digitizing the series, and then combining it with various TRC documents to form a multimedia player that was launched in 2010, intended to support much-needed ongoing transitional justice work in the country. SAHA and the SABC then collaborated to put the entire product online in order to make the work of the TRC more widely accessible and to introduce a new generation of South Africans to this vital period in the making of our democracy. In order to make the site truly searchable, SAHA catalogued, transcribed and indexed all episodes of the television series and then linked each section of these episodes to the related section in the TRC archive, from the official 7-volume TRC Final Report, as well as transcripts from TRC hearings, reparation and rehabilitation workshops, amnesty decisions, details of those victims of gross human rights violations as identified by the TRC, and those submissions made to the TRC, focusing on particular sectors and institutions' roles in either upholding or opposing apartheid. The website is aimed at non-profit institutions engaged in education, outreach and heritage work, and civil society organizations working in the field of transitional justice, both in South Africa and abroad, as well as journalists, researchers, lawyers, and interested members of the public. The website also contributes to highlighting the unfinished business of the TRC by providing a platform to showcase those stories that remind us of why it is vital for the future of South Africa to follow up on the recommendations of the TRC. The website also enables SAHA to publish previously unseen TRC documents for public access, including the recently released TRC Section 29 transcripts. The Section 29 hearings were closed hearings of the TRC, relating to investigative inquiries, and were comprised of the testimony of individuals who were under oath to divulge the full extent of their knowledge of some of apartheid's most heinous crimes. Given the fragile nature of South Africa's new democracy at the time, they were held in camera, that is, closed to the public, and most of the information obtained was never officially released. Hearings, held under Section 29, included discussions of the death of Samora Machel, the Helderberg disaster, investigations into Vlakplaas and the workings of the security branch, and the deaths of anti-apartheid activists such as Rick Turner and Griffith Mxenge.